Hey friends, happy Saturday morning. It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful day. Loving this change of the seasons. It's finally starting to look like fall and feel like fall. But speaking of seasons, guys, I wanted to share something that was on my heart this morning, something that I hope blesses you as much as it did me. Had a very timely Bible study this morning, just in light of the world that we're living in. I don't just mean our nation, the state of the whole world. You know, I was in 2 Timothy 4, highly encourage you to read this, but just remember leading up to this, that Paul told Timothy, he reminded Timothy that the faith that he got from his mother and his grandmother, that Paul said was evident now in Timothy, and he reminded Timothy to follow his way of life. And he said, you know how I lived. You heard about it, you saw it. The beatings, the floggings, the false imprisonments. Being thrown out of the city one time, being left for dead. But I got back up and I went back in. You saw my way of life, Timothy. That I never backed down from the gospel, and I never ever compromised on it. No matter if I was speaking to an audience that would hear it kindly, or to an audience that was hostile to me, I never compromised on the gospel, and I always preached the word at every opportunity, no matter where I went. This is what I was known for, Timothy, and this is what you must do as well. And I love this because Paul was such an amazing mentor, and he knew that he was passing on the torch, because he knew, because of his unwillingness to back down and his boldness in preaching the gospel, he was in prison and his time of departure was near. His time of execution was very, very near. And Paul knew it was so important to pass this on to Timothy, to encourage this young pastor to carry the torch and to continue to set the world on fire, for Jesus Christ. And this is where he is. And he tells him, he says, in the presence of God and Jesus Christ, who comes to judge the living and the dead, in view of his appearing and the kingdom, I give you this charge, Timothy. 3 words, and this is a charge to every single one of us. This is not merely a suggestion. Preach the word. And then he goes on, he says, be ready in season and out of season. Correct, rebuke, encourage with great patience and careful instruction. And then he goes on to tell them, because there is coming a time, and this is the time that we're in, when people will no longer put up with sound doctrine. Not at all. They will turn from the truth, and they will turn to fables. They will amass teachers who give them what their itching ears want to hear. But he tells them in no uncertain terms, he says, but not you, Timothy, not you. You keep your head in all situations. And he said, be patient in suffering. Fulfill the work of an evangelist. Do the work of an evangelist, and finish out the calling to which that you were given. He's like, Timothy, don't stop. You keep going until the very end, until you see that finish line and you pass it. Don't even for the most part stop to take a breath. You just keep fighting for the gospel, Timothy. And this is the charge for every single one of us. We are all commanded to preach the word in season and out of season. That means when it's popular and when it's not. And let me tell you what, it's not very popular right now, especially in different parts of our nation and in the world. But we have to continue to preach it, and we cannot back down on one bit. We can't compromise the truth, on anything, on the sanctity of life, and that marriage is between one man and one woman, all of these different things. We have to be found faithful, because at the end of the day, we will be judged for what we did and we didn't do. And this is what Paul was saying at the end. It's going to be so worth it. It's that short-term sacrifice equals long-term gain. When we are faithful in this world, we will inherit so much more, and it will be so worth it. All the suffering, the patient endurance, it will be worth it, because this is what Paul says. He's promising Timothy. He says, the time of my departure is near. Even now, I am being poured out as a drink offering. He said, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. And now there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness that the righteous judge will give to me on that day. And not just to me, but to all those who long for his glorious appearing. All those who remain faithful and continue to preach the word, there is laying up for us a crown of righteousness. This is going to be a reward that we can't even comprehend this side of heaven. It's going to be so worth it, guys. I don't know about you, but that makes me happy. So my challenge to you is to preach the word in season and out of season, to be found faithful at all times, to be an approved workman, rightly dividing the word of truth, so that we will not be ashamed, so that you will not be ashamed when we stand before the righteous judge, that we took the word and we didn't compromise on it, that we knew it, we committed it to memory, and we handled it very, very carefully, boldly preaching everywhere we went, seeing every opportunity, everywhere we go as an opportunity to preach the gospel. Because let me remind you, in the example of Paul, that we follow who followed the example of Jesus. Even when Paul was before the judges and the magistrates, even when he was in prison, he continued to preach the gospel. The more that they came against him, the more he saw it as missions opportunities to preach to those people that he wouldn't have reached had he not been in those situations. So guys, with all joy and with all boldness, let us be found preaching the word in season and out of season. I really hope that blesses you. I'm going to finish up my run before the storm comes in and get off to spend the day with my sweet Larry. It is going to be a great day.